financial independence. We hear that phrase a lot, right? And it paints this picture of, I don't know, freedom, control, maybe kicking back on a beach somewhere. But honestly, for a lot of us, it just feels overwhelming. There's so much advice out there, so many different strategies. It's kind of dizzying.
It really is.
What if it's not really about stumbling onto some secret get-rich formula? What if it's something deeper, like finding a real path to freedom, actual control over your life?
That's a great way to put it.
So today, we're going to try and cut through some of that noise. We've been digging into a really fascinating mix of, well, financial thinking. We looked at the Alliance of Comprehensive Planners' 7 keys, very practical stuff.
Yeah, very grounded.
And then you've got Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is a totally different framework.
Eye-opening for many people.
Definitely. Plus, Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover, very disciplined. Benjamin Graham's classic Intelligent Investor, timeless principles there.
Can't ignore Graham.
Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money, which is brilliant on the behavioral side, and the really transformative ideas in your money or your life.
It's quite a range, isn't it? But what's so striking when you really get into these different sources is how they all kind of converge on this one surprising truth.
Which is?
Well, that financial success. It's not really about market timing or finding that secret stock pick. It's much more about mastering your own internal game.
Your own head, basically.
Exactly. Your mindset, those habits you don't even think about, your self-awareness. So our mission today really is to pull out the practical, sometimes kind of counterintuitive insights from all this that can genuinely help you redefine your relationship with money.
Okay, so let's unpack that. This idea that the journey starts with you. Not with a spreadsheet, not with a broker, but internally.
It really does. It's fascinating because sources like 7 Keys are just crystal clear on this. You are the someone in control. It's not about having some genius level IQ. It's much more about mastering specific behaviors and, importantly, understanding your own, psychological quirks, which is why, as they point out, any kind of foolproof, money-back guaranteed, no-risk, get-rich-quick scheme.
Yeah, forget it.
It's just debunked right away. If it sounds way too good to be true, well...
It is.
Yeah.
And it's not just about avoiding obvious scams, is it? I was struck by the Total Money Makeover, talking about how we're almost, like, brainwashed into believing these common money myths.
Like what?
Like, debt is just a tool you use to get ahead, or that getting rich quick is actually possible if you just find the right thing. But really, it's more like financial quicksand.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people justify a fancy car loan by saying they need it for their image?
Oh, absolutely. And that really brings up a key question for you, listening. Have you ever really stopped and thought about your own, deep down attitudes about money? 7 Keys actually calls this money is a mind matter. You hear people say things like, oh, I just don't make enough, or, well, I deserve this nice thing, I work hard.
Yeah, all the time.
These aren't just throwaway comments. They can signal what the sources call financial dysfunction, maybe even a poverty mentality, which is the polar opposite of a wealth mentality.
So what you believe really matters.
Hugely. It's crucial to recognize how your background, the money messages you picked up growing up, how all that shapes your outlook today, your comfort with risk even. The psychology of money talks a lot about this. It's like you're operating off an old blueprint you didn't even know was there.
Wow. Okay, one concept that really, it stopped me in my tracks when we were reading this stuff, it came from your money or your life.
Ah, yes.
This idea, it's profound. Money is life energy, meaning it's literally the finite amount of time we have on Earth, our precious time, that we trade away to get money. Every hour at work, the commute. It's a direct swap of your life.
And once you really let that sink in, the next step is, figuring out what you're really getting in return for that irreplaceable life energy.
How do you do that?
Your money or your life has this incredibly powerful, almost sobering exercise. Calculating your real hourly wage.
Real hourly wage, okay.
Yeah, so you take your pay, but then you deduct all the job-related costs. Commuting, maybe special clothes, lunches out because you're too tired to pack one.
To coffees to stay awake.
Exactly. Even the money you spend to de-stress from work, job-related illnesses, maybe even those vacations that are really just about recovering from your job.
Wow.
And then you add up all the extra time you spend on work stuff beyond the official hours, getting ready, the travel itself, winding down afterwards.
So it's not just the 9 to 5.
Not at all. They give this really compelling example. Someone working 40 hours a week, earning maybe $440. After you factor all this in, it could easily become like 70 hours of your actual life energy for only $280 net.
70 hours, good grief.
Which makes their real hourly wage just $4 an hour.
$4.
It just forces you to confront it. What are you truly trading your precious finite life energy for?
Man, that calculation, it just cuts through all the noise, doesn't it? And if you want to dig into those underlying beliefs, those patterns, 7 Keys has a great tool for that too.
The money autobiography.
Yeah, the money autobiography exercise. It sounds simple, but it's a really powerful way to explore how those past money messages from family, culture, whatever, are still kind of pulling the strings on your decisions today. It's more about self-discovery than crunching numbers.
Which leads right into the next big step, doesn't it?
Exactly. So once you've kind of unearthed those money beliefs, maybe calculated that real hourly wage, seen the true cost, what next? How do you actually start building financial strength? Which brings us, inevitably, to saving, the absolute bedrock.
Yes. And the core idea here, you see it everywhere. 7 Keys, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Total Money Makeover. It's pay yourself first, or sometimes fund your future first.
Sounds simple enough.
It does. Almost too simple, right? But the deep insight is that it's not just an accounting trick. It's like a pre-commitment. You're prioritizing your future self before emotions or impulses can hijack your money.
Right, before it disappears on stuff.
Precisely. And 7 Keys gives a really specific guideline. Consistently save 10% of your gross income. Even after you retire, keep saving that 10%. Do that, they argue, and you will never run out of money. It's the consistency that holds the power.
Yeah, that really drives home the point from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and psychology of money. It's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep.
Exactly.
You could have a huge income, but if your spending keeps pace, you're not actually getting wealthier. A high savings rate is the real key, even if your income isn't massive. Because saving gives you, as Housel says, options, flexibility, and the chance to wait for opportunities.
Options are freedom. And that consistent saving, it becomes almost, well, magical when you factor in compounding.
The 8th wonder of the world, supposedly.
Well, 7 Keys and Psychology of Money both highlight it. Consistent long-term returns aren't just a nice bonus, they're like your secret weapon. They use this great example, Mary Beth and Paul.
Oh, yeah, I remember this one.
Mary Beth saves $2,000 a year, but only for 5 years, starting when she's 25. Then she stops saving completely.
Okay.
Paul starts later, age 35, but he saves that same $2,000 every year for 30 years. Way more money saved overall, right?
Yeah, much longer.
But by age 65, Mary Beth, who stopped saving decades earlier, ends up with almost $70,000 more than Paul.
70,000 more, just from starting earlier.
Just from starting earlier. It perfectly illustrates their point. The money we save when we're young is worth more than the money we save at a later age. Time is the critical ingredient for compounding. It's about patience and getting started.
Wow. Okay, so saving is foundational, compounding is the accelerator. Where does debt fit in? Because that can really sabotage things. 7 Keys has that line, don't mortgage your later to pay for your now.
That's such a critical piece, and we all kind of know the basic difference between good debt and bad debt.
Sure, mortgage versus credit cards, usually.
Right. Good debt, like a mortgage or maybe a sensible student loan, finances something that ideally lasts longer than the loan and maybe gives you some leverage. But bad debt is just financing consumption furniture, holidays, clothes, especially if you carry a credit card balance month to month.
Which so many people do.
And the blunt truth from 7 Keys is if you're carrying that balance, you can't afford them, period. They even have this debt recovery gauge.
Right, the percentages.
Yeah, if your non-mortgage debt payments are more than 20% of your income, they label that critical, like flashing red lights, emergency situation.
Okay, that's a clear warning sign.
But here's a really interesting kind of counterintuitive bit of advice from 7 Keys. Saving that 10%. They argue it's actually more important than aggressively paying down debt, at least initially.
Really? More important than getting rid of debt? Why?
To build the savings muscle. To make saving automatic a non-negotiable habit first. Then tackle the debt. Also, a quick warning they give about those 0% financing deals or credit card rewards.
Oh yeah, those seem tempting.
They seem tempting. But often, if you don't pay it off exactly on time, the fees and interest dwarf any benefit you got. They're often psychological traps.
And for actually tackling the debt itself, Dave Ramsey's debt snowball comes up a lot.
That's in the Total Money Makeover. It's a very specific method list. Debts smallest to largest, pay minimums on all but the smallest, throw everything extra at that smallest one until it's gone.
Regardless of interest rate.
Yeah, that's the key. It's less about math optimization and more about psychology. Knocking out those small debts gives you quick wins, builds momentum, frees up cash flow to attack the next one. It helps you feel like you're making progress.
Okay, so mindset dialed in, saving habit built, debt being tackled. Now, put that saved money to work. Investing, which can feel pretty intimidating.
Definitely. And this is where 7 Keys and, of course, Graham's Intelligent Investor draw a really crucial line. The difference between an investor and a trader.
What's the difference in their view?
An investor focuses long-term. They're interested in the underlying value, the strength of the business. A trader, well, a trader is trying to profit from short-term market noise, those daily or weekly swings.
Which sounds exciting.
It sounds exciting, but they argue it's a game best left to full-time pros, if anyone. For ordinary folks trying to time the market, jumping in and out, or speculating on, say, high-growth stocks or IPOs.
IPOs, yeah, always tempting.
Especially in bull markets, Graham warns, they're often way overpriced and super risky. Resisting that emotional urge to chase quick gains is hard, but vital.
That makes sense. And it connects to that rich dad, poor dad lesson too, doesn't it? Mind your own business.
Oh, so?
Well, the idea isn't just about starting a company. It's about focusing on building your asset column, things that put money in your pocket like investments, rather than just focusing on your income column, which is your paycheck. You want assets working for you.
Absolutely. And a core idea for investing from Graham is that price and value are 2 different concepts. They are not the same thing.
Okay, explain that one.
He uses this brilliant allegory, Mr. Market. Imagine the stock market is like this manic depressive business partner you have, Mr. Market.
Okay.
Every day he shows up and offers to either buy your share of the business or sell you his, and the price he quotes is all over the place. Some days he's wildly optimistic and quotes a crazy high price. Other days he's terrified and offers a ridiculously low price.
Sounds unpredictable.
Totally. But Graham's point is, Mr. Market's mood swings shouldn't affect your judgment of the business's actual fundamental value. You just use his moods to your advantage. You buy from him when he's depressed and selling cheap, and maybe sell to him when he's euphoric and offering a silly price.
So ignore the noise, focus on the real value.
Exactly. The goal, Graham says, is to invest in a stock only when you can comfortably own it without following its daily share price. That takes real emotional discipline.
Right. Discipline again. Which kind of leads us to another key strategy from 7 Keys. Key #6. Cover your backside, diversify.
Ah, yes, diversification. The old, don't put all your eggs in one basket. But 7 Keys gives it a really useful framework.
The ACP Pyramid.
Exactly, the ACP Pyramid. It's not just about spreading money around. It's about understanding the purpose of different assets in your overall financial life.
Okay, break down the pyramid.
So think of it like this. Equities, like stocks, they're the crops in the field. That's your growth engine, where you expect the most potential over time, but also where you have the most weather risk, market ups and downs.
Got it. Crops.
Then there's real estate. That's the garden. It's tangible, maybe provides some inflation protection, some enjoyment, a bit more stability, perhaps.
Okay, garden. Makes sense.
And finally, interest-earning investments, bonds, cash, CDs, that's the pantry. It's about capital preservation, safety, having resources ready for lean years or unexpected needs, liquid and stable.
Crops, garden, pantry. I like that.
Each part serves a different essential purpose, and the idea is to aim for a rough balance, maybe about a third in each category as a starting point. It forces you to ask, for you, is your financial ecosystem balanced across these different roles?
That's a really practical way to think about it.
Yeah.
And speaking of broad diversification, especially for people who don't want to pick individual stocks, index funds come up. Right?
Oh, yeah. Both Graham in The Intelligent Investor and people like Warren Buffett have recommended simple index funds as basically the best bet for most defensive investors over the long haul.
Why index funds?
Because they're low cost, they give you instant broad diversification across the whole market, and historically, they've actually outperformed most actively managed funds, especially over long periods. It's kind of the ultimate keep it simple strategy.
Simple but effective.
But even with diversification in index funds, the psychology of money throws in a dose of realism. Housel reminds us that luck and risk are often more important than your hard work and skills when it comes to specific investment outcomes.
Ouch. That's a bit humbling.
It is. It doesn't mean effort doesn't matter, but it acknowledges the huge role of chance, which connects to what Rich Dad Poor Dad says. Winners are not afraid of losing. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's often part of the
So
process.
you need to be okay with things not always going perfectly.
Exactly. You have to, as Housel puts it, plan on the plan not going according to plan. Build in resilience. Graham called it a margin of safety. Assume errors will happen, assume setbacks will occur, and build your strategy robustly enough to withstand them. Failure is inevitable. Being fragile isn't.
Okay, this is a really comprehensive path. Mindset, saving, debt, investing. But it feels like an ongoing process. How do you actually, track all this? How do you measure progress on this journey?
Great question. And your money or your life provides some incredibly practical, almost surprisingly simple tools for this. It's all about tracking the flow.
Okay, like what?
It starts with a daily money log, literally writing down every single penny that comes in and goes out, every coffee, every paycheck, every pack of gum.
Every single penny.
Yeah.
That sounds intense.
It can be initially, but it creates awareness. Then at the end of the month, you do the monthly tabulation. You categorize all that spending, see where the money actually went. And here's the kicker. You convert those spending totals into hours of life energy using that real hourly wage you calculated earlier.
Oof. So you see, I spent 5 hours of my life on takeout food this month.
Precisely. And the final piece is the wall chart. A big visible graph where you plot your total monthly income and total monthly expenses over time, month after month.
Why a big wall chart?
Because it makes it real, tangible. You can literally see your progress. You see the gap between income and expenses widening. You watch, hopefully, your expense line go down as your fulfillment goes up. It's incredibly motivating to have that visual feedback loop.
That makes sense. Seeing the trend lines. And then there were those 3 questions, right? From the same book.
Yes, the 3 questions that will transform your life. You ask these about each spending category on your monthly tabulation.
Okay, what are they again?
First, did I receive fulfillment, satisfaction, and value in proportion to the life energy spent? Was it worth the hours of my life?
Tough question.
Second, is this expenditure of life energy in alignment with my values and my life purpose? Does the spending actually reflect who I am and what I care about?
Deeper still.
And third, how might this expenditure change if I didn't have to work for a living? If money wasn't the primary driver, would I still spend on this?
Wow. Asking those honestly every month, that would really force some changes.
Absolutely. Answering them honestly, month after month, does a few things. It forces you to get crystal clear on your real values. It helps you define what enough actually means for you personally. And it builds what the book calls financial integrity, aligning your spending with your values.
Which naturally leads to.
It naturally leads to minimizing spending, not through painful deprivation, but through conscious choice. And it also encourages maximizing income, not necessarily by chasing promotions, but by valuing your life energy more highly. You embrace frugality where it aligns with your values, and you learn to just say no to unconscious, unfulfilling spending. It becomes about intentional living.
And it's important to remember, this isn't static, right? Our goals change.
Exactly. The psychology of money makes a great point about how personal goals and desires evolve over time. Who you are at 25 isn't who you are at 45 or 65. So your financial plan needs to be flexible. It needs to adapt with your changing identity. It's not a one-time setup. It's a living thing.
Right. So you're tracking, you're aligning spending with values, you're adapting. What's the goal? What does winning look like in this framework?
Your money or your life defines a really exciting milestone. The crossover point.
Crossover point.
Sounds significant. It is. It's the moment when the monthly income generated by your investments, your capital, the money that's now working for you becomes equal to or greater than your actual monthly expenses.
Ah, so your investments are paying your bills.
Exactly. That's the definition of financial independence in this context. Your money is now earning enough to cover your lifestyle. At that point, they say, your options will be wide open. You can truly celebrate. Your time is effectively yours again.
That's the freedom we talked about at the beginning.
That's the freedom. And as you navigate this journey, 7 Keys offers a nice reminder about those inevitable life changes. Maybe a new job, starting a family, kids living home.
Yeah, life happens.
These transition points aren't setbacks. They're opportunities for growth, for reassessment. The key is to build on your successes from your past efforts, adapt your plan, but don't just throw everything out and start over. Learn and evolve.
So bringing it all together, what does this really mean for you, the listener?
Well, I think it consistently points back to one core idea. The end goal is freedom. as the psychology of money puts it so well.
Freedom, not just riches.
Right. It's the ability to choose your lifestyle, to have genuine control over your time. It's not just about accumulating the biggest possible pile of money. It's about being, as Ramsey would say, debt-free, and having, as Kiyosaki emphasizes, money working 24/7 for you. It's about aligning your financial life with your deepest values so you can live a life of authentic choice.
Wow. Okay, we've definitely taken a deep dive here, moving from these big ideas about financial independence right down to, well, very specific, actionable steps for your life. And it seems pretty clear, doesn't it? It's less about finding some secret formula and much more about this really profound personal journey. It's about self-awareness, discipline, being intentional with that life energy we talked about, mastering your own psychology, like Housel says, understanding assets like Kiyosaki, getting disciplined like Ramsey, being rational like Graham, and maybe redefining your whole relationship with money like your money or your life suggests.
Yeah, and thinking about that Hassel quote again. Your personal experiences with money make up maybe 0.0000001% of what's happened in the world, but maybe 80% of how you think the world works.
That's a powerful thought.
It really is. So maybe the final question for you to reflect on is this. How might actively challenging those deeply ingrained personal money stories, those beliefs shaped by that tiny sliver of experience, how might challenging those truly empower you to redefine your relationship with money, to build the kind of financial independence that actually aligns with your deepest values, your unique purpose?
Something to really think about. We definitely encourage you to maybe revisit your own habits after this, perhaps even try calculating that real hourly wage, see what comes up. And consider which of these insights, maybe just one or two to start, you'll begin applying on your own journey toward personal freedom.